Welcome to another Kings of War Battle Report. Army swap. Salamanders versus Kingdoms of Men. 2,300 points. The scenario was INVADE. My friend Craig and I are doing another 6-game this time instead of 8-game little tournament. And this time we decided to use armies that we've never played before. And so we are actually swapping armies. I am going to play with his armies and he is going to play with mine. So the first army I selected to play with was the Salamanders, and we're also, besides being able to use the other guy's army, we're also limited to their model selection, so there's no proxying and any of that garbage. So we just play with what we own, which is much more challenging than just saying, well, I just want the optimum of this or that, and this equals that. So my Salamander army had 2 hordes of Salamander primes, a regiment of ancients, 2 hordes of tyrants, one with striding and one with the brew of sharpness, a unit of lancers with the potion of the caterpillar, 2 Lachelodons, a phoenix, a herald with a lute, a mage priest with heal 3 and the shroud, and a clan lord on a fire drake. So for Craig's first army selection, he chose my Kingdoms of Men, my SAM list. He changed some of this stuff up, which is absolutely fine. I mean, it's his choice. And so he had more magic items and stuff than I had in my list. And so I have 4 regiments of pikemen, 3 troops of fanatics, 1 regiment of fanatics, and I think that actually had the potion of the caterpillar. 2 hordes of foot guard with indomitable will. I think one had elite and the other one had vicious. 3 generals on a winged beast, 1 with trickster's wand, 1 with crushing, 1 with slashing, a hero on a Pegasus with indomitable will, an ASB with loot, and an ASB with the scrying gem. So I absolutely had no idea what I was doing with these Salamanders. So, and you'll see what it does to me during the game. One of the things I'm going to talk about real quick is the terrain. All the hills are level 2, unless they have an extra stack on them, then they're level 4. Both craters are level 1 impassable, and I heard that, but I didn't hear it. And so I ended up setting a horde of freaking Salamander primes behind one of those things, thinking it was thought it was difficult terrain. And so no, it was my bad. Craig very clearly explained it. My brain just shut it out for some stupid reason. And so the on this end, I took I think they're called K-Sonor Lancers, and I kind of angled them to keep the flyers at least semi-bundled up. And then my unit of tyrants, I call them Crocs, of course, and these ones had the brew of sharpness, so they're pretty lethal unit. My first unit of Salamander primes, the ASB is over here with the Salamander primes. And right in the middle, I went ahead and put the regiment of ancients. Then another horde of Salamander primes. Behind those, I put the Phoenix, to do some healing and throw some fireballs. And then both Lachelodons were together. And then the next unit of tyrants. This one's had had striding. And then lastly, the fire dragon, whatever you want to call him. I had a plan over there, and I had a little bit more shooting on that. I had all the shooting on that side, and my idea was to try to shoot the fanatics and some of the pikemen down so that I could finish them. I knew I didn't want to charge into pike units that were intact, but they're still squishy humans, and so if you can knock them down a few wounds, then you should be able to easily finish them off. So this is totally different setup than I've ever done with my Kingdoms of Men army, but then again, this is Craig's Kingdoms of Men army for this game. So what we have on the far left, we have a checkerboard of pikes, fanatic troop, and then another unit of pikes. Behind them is a general on winged beast, then another general on winged beast with a fanatic regiment. That regiment, I'm almost positive, had potion of the caterpillar. Then is the first unit of foot guard, and they had another general on winged beast and the Pegasus behind them. Then a troop of fanatics, another I think it's another regiment of fanatics, and then the next unit of foot guard, and lastly on the very end a unit of pikemen. And I think the ASB is with the units out here on this end. I don't really see him, but pretty sure that's where he's at. On this end of the table, Craig made a strong general advance on turn 1 with the pikemen and stuff pushing forward. A little disjointed. I usually try to keep them absolutely online to prevent flank charges, but there wasn't much chance that was going to happen on turn 1. The both generals on Winged Beast came up behind. The Fanatics moved up behind the Pegasus. The Pegasus had moved all the way to the edge of the woods in the very middle of the table. On this end, the pikemen moved up. I think everything moved 5 inches on this end of the table and stayed on line. So we had, the pikemen, then the unit of foot guard, a unit of Fanatics, and then another unit of pikemen. Over in the other side, he kind of angled that unit of foot guard and the unit of Fanatics. I'm not sure what that was about, but maybe it's just to get around the impassable terrain, which it just, like I said, it didn't even occur to me until partway through, like turn 3, that it was impassable. And it was just like, holy crap. I knew I'd messed up bad. So I moved forward cautiously because Craig is the most charge-happy person I know. If in doubt, charge. Him and my friend Chaos Dave, they are the kings of charging, and so I declined to get into charge range, and so I did move forward cautiously. The Lord on the Fire Drake or Fire Dragon, whatever he's called, since he didn't move very aggressively toward me, I went ahead and moved my dragon up to the flank of his line. I moved 20 inches and then turned to the right so I could look down the line. And that, of course, already gave me many opportunities to get flank charges from right there. Everything else just moved forward. The Lacheladon shot at the unit of Fanatics. It was a pretty underwhelming shooting, actually, for an early turn in the game. But I guess they just needed a turn to get warmed up. But my thought was if I could take the Lacheladons to take the Fanatics out, then I could isolate one of the units of pikemen and maybe get in that flank charge I was talking about from the big guy. Didn't really move much over here on my right flank. The Lancers just kind of stayed angled. The Tyrus moved to the top of the hill. Not like they need to get any impetus coming down the hill. It's just nice to do it. But I was just kind of actually baiting his general on Winged Beast. I was hoping he would try a front charge on those tyrants, and I would just butcher him. But he didn't fall for that one. So anyway, that's all. There wasn't much I could do on this flank. I was totally outmanned, and so I just decided to dance around with him over here. And maybe I was really more trying for the middle and the left. So in his turn, he moved. He did angle the pikemen around the impassable terrain that's down here. We have 4 pieces of impassable terrain on the board. That might be a little bit much of impassable terrain anyway. So the everything just angled there. One of the units of Fanatics moved out to try to bait me, which I was not going to fall for. So the unit of pikemen came around the impassable terrain. Even though I only had 1 flyer to his 4, mine was actually a pretty dominating position. Just because he had let me get up on him so early in the game and get in position there. So he had really no choice but to angle the pikemen and the Fanatics there. I still could have had a potential flank charge into that unit of pikes, but then that would have got me charged by 2 generals on Winged Beast, and that probably would not have been a good thing. But everything else just kind of pushed up online and just kind of trying to compensate for the fact of my dragon. The important one to see here is he's moved the Pegasus to the middle here, and now he's going to probably try to charge me and try to ground my dragon to keep it from breathing fire. So I did go ahead and move the dragon into the woods, just walked him over there, and so I could breathe fire on the pikemen there on the end or on the Fanatics, and Everything else just moved up generally. I was just trying to get to the middle of the table. If he was going to hold back, I was going to try to push forward. This is the turn, as you can see, that I discovered that I couldn't get through the impassable terrain. So then I am side shuffling 2.5 inches a turn over to try to get back in the game, and I wouldn't get back in the game. So effectively, I spotted him that entire horde of salamander primes. It is all my fault. But you know, I was just trying to do the best I could to compensate for it. But I think actually my lancers even moved back a little bit, so not to get charged by the general on winged beast. There was no reason to take that, and so that was the best I could do this turn. I think my flaming, it may have wavered the pikeman this turn. I think between the Laquila, I shot one Laquilodon, I think the one on the left at the pikeman, and I think I shot the dragon at the pikeman. I think I wavered them this turn, so that was a big help to slow down the advance on this flank. So the pikemen were indeed wavered, and then the fanatics had taken 4 wounds from shooting from the Laquilodon. The Pegasus went ahead and charged, made a hindered charge into the dragon in the woods. Pretty tough target, needing 4s and 4s, so I have a chance of not getting grounded, so that's all good. And that was it for his turn. I mean, he ended up whiffing with that guy, and so that gave me absolute freedom to move him around however I wanted next turn. So yeah, he moved up more on this end, constantly trying to bait me into making some sort of rash charge in the middle of, well, I'm going to charge 1 unit into 4 or 5. That's probably not a good thing. So I was just going to have to do my best to hold him off here. So yeah, the pikemen are moving forward. I'm going to have to do something about them as the general winged beast. I just don't want to get double charged by something, and that would be a bad thing. The pikemen over there are getting close to my lancers. I don't want to charge them with lancers. I know it would just be totally futile, and even though I have a chance. I mean, the problem with the stupid salamander cavalry is they hit on 4s, which means I'm hitting pikemen on freaking 6s, which is ridiculous. And so there's no way in hell I should stay around anywhere near those pikemen. So over here on the left side, the 1 unit of fanatics went ahead and made a charge into my Laquilodon. I'm pretty sure he killed it. I guess the downside or the good side of the impassable terrain thing is that I could stand my Phoenix and my Laquilodon behind it and shoot stuff, and nobody could charge me. So that was a fortunate part of it. In the middle, he did a triple charge into the ancients, which I didn't get it, but you know, I'm a simple man, and I lose more games than anybody I know. So he did a triple charge. I really kind of thought he crisscross charged, but I don't know. It's hard to tell with that rule because it wasn't clear from where everybody's angle was, where he was at, and so we just went with it. I really wasn't scared that much of it because that was a hindered charge into a unit of armor 6 guys, but the regiment of fanatics he had the potion of the caterpillar, and those guys were going to leave a mark on me. I think he got Bane Chant off on the fanatics, and I think he ended up doing 8 wounds, but you know, those guys are self-inspiring and inspiring the other units around them. So and their leadership is ungodly high. So wasn't too scared of what was going on here, but anyway, I thought it was to me that was kind of a risky charge. But on the other hand, I couldn't move forward, and like I said, after I got bottled up behind the terrain, it didn't matter because I was not going to be able to ever move that unit of Salamander primes forward. There's just not enough turns left in the game to get them to the other side of the table, and I just have a fear that that's going to cost me at some point in this game. So I decided to go for it this turn. I berate everybody for wasting a Phoenix by using it to charge something with, but I had a flank shot on these guys, and they wouldn't have been hindered, and so that would have gave me 10 swings for 3s and 3s to go along with the swings from the ancients in the front. And I thought, well, that would be a good way to get rid of this stupid pikeman unit very, very quickly. And we'll see how that works out. But I always tell people a Phoenix is not a combat guy but it was just so tempting with that flank hanging over there, to go ahead and do it. Plus his pikemen were wavered or going to be wavered. I can't remember what happened with them. The tyrants went ahead and charged into the fanatics. They're not going to live through that. There's just too many swings. Over here on the right, the unit of my Salamander Primes went ahead and flank charged the fanatics in the woods. And yeah, I know it's a whole bunch of attacks, but it's 50 attacks for 5s and 6s. I know it's a bunch of 5s and 6s. Where the Pegasus not killing or not wounding my guy opens up, I'd be able to launch the fire dragon into the flank of the foot guard in the middle. And that was a good charge. So, I have a pretty good thing going on here where I'm kind of pushing. Literally, I should have wasted a whole bunch of these guys this turn. We're going to see what happens. Over here, I launched the tyrants into the unit of pikemen. I know that he has ensnare, but I have the bruise sharpness on there, so 30 for 4s. I still should have a decent chance. 15 hits. I should still kill that unit of pikemen in one go. Went ahead and charged the lancers into the fanatics because I'd at least rather take something with me. I know that I'm going to die, but I just wanted to take something with me before I did. You could see the Salamander Primes are flank charging the fanatics there in the middle. My Mage Priest comes up there and starts to heal the Ancients. I think I rolled pretty bad. I think I just got. They were at 8. Now they're down to 6. So that when you consider I got 1 from the Aura of Life or Radiance of Life or whatever it is, that was a pretty pathetic roll. Dice tend to plague me in every game, and this game was no different. I can't say dice was a huge thing in this game, but it's just some of the things. It's like, okay, I don't really care about rolling exceptionally well. I just want to be average. That's all I ask out of it. So yeah, the tyrants went ahead and butchered the fanatics there. Of course, the Phoenix doing exactly what I said. I think rolls 1 wound out of all that. Does between 10 there for 3s and 3s and 12 for 4s and anything but a 1, I think. I did 6 wounds, which is garbage. Hell, it might be average. I don't know, but I'm just throwing it out there. I should have did 6 hits and 6 wounds or 5 wounds to them, and then from the Phoenix, I should have done like 4, 9, about 3 under on average. But that 3 makes a huge difference when you're trying to waver or kill a unit. The dragon rolled really a little bit below, a little bit subpar for 30 swings, but still managed to waver these guys. But they have indomitable will. And the sad thing is in the whole time I've used this unit, I have never got to pop indomitable will. Well, guess what's going to happen to me? He's going to pop indomitable will, and it's not going to be good for my side. But my Salamander Primes went ahead and killed the Berserkers there. So now his General and Winged Beast is kind of on an island right there in the middle of the table. Predictably, my tyrants went ahead and slaughtered the peasants. The pikemen, and then the lancers went ahead and killed the unit of Berserkers. But I'm going to get slaughtered by that unit of foot guard charging down the hill. There's nothing I could do about it. But I felt it was about the same as fighting. It may have been actually better to charge the pikemen and roll for 6s than it was to do what I just did, but it's hard to tell sometimes, when you're doing this. I just wanted to make sure I took something with me. I think if there's any unit that I might contemplate taking out of the list next time, it may be that unit of Lancer. I don't mind them. I'm just not really big on cavalry that hits on 4s. I really don't like anything that hits on 4s as a mainstay unit in my army, and they're very sketchy. 20 swings for 4s. I don't know. It's probably the same as rolling for the hitting on 3s for less swings, but it don't feel like it sometimes because there's just so much spiking that goes on with hitting on 4 units. This part of the game is where I just start making stupid mistakes that really cost me the game, or could cost me the game, I should say. The Salamander Primes, I don't know why I faced them to the front. I would much rather take a fanatic troop in the flank than that freaking griffin in the flank. And so I screwed up right there. I should have angled them more so that he would have had to make a front charge. His other General on Wing Beast jumped the lines out of the woods here, jumped over. Then now they're facing the back of my tyrants, so that's not a good thing. Pikemen are turned around facing the back of the Lancers just in case, and they're also on my side of the table with unit strength 3. This is a disaster right here. What's going to happen, because this is going to really hurt. So yeah, the stupid pikemen countercharged my Phoenix. I cannot believe how bad they are. I mean, it's just like, I know better. I really know better, and I did it anyway because I'm a dumbass. The foot guard popped their Dominable Will, and I'm pretty sure they killed my dragon. Like I said, just one of those unfortunate things. I came so close to killing those guys in one go, but I just could not make the nerve roll to get away with it. And of course, that army, since it's my army, has Inspire out the ass. I mean, anywhere around there's Inspired, so there's it's really hardly any place to attack them where you're not fighting a unit that's Inspired. Yeah, stupid pikemen get lucky and do 3 wounds to the Phoenix. Well, hell. And then the dragon died. And now the foot guard are those foot guard are maimed, though. I gotta admit, they are in deep trouble as far as the amount of damage. All it's going to take is somebody to breathe hard on them, and they're going to go down. Problem is, they got to get to them. So that's what's going on there. Okay, my turn. I went ahead and charged the tyrants into the unit of pikemen. The Lacheladon moves up to get a line of sight on the very injured unit of foot guard. My ancients go ahead and charge the pikemen in the flank, and so we're going to see how this turns out this turn. So over here, I went ahead and charged the tyrants into the foot guard. 30 swings for 3s and anything but. So should be a good result, I hope, for me. All I could do, he had rolled really, really well on my unit of Salamander primes, and they were wavered. Took a lot of damage from that flank charge. Like I said, that was just a huge mistake on my part. I really had nothing else to do with the Salamander primes. Like I say, they were totally screwed. So I just angled them toward the back of the General on the Winged Beast. So at least he'd fly off somewhere and leave me alone. So yeah, I did slaughter the foot guard up there, but then I made a mistake. I thought for some reason that the General on Winged Beast was out of range, and I didn't measure it. I mean, it was my mistake. I knew that the pikeman couldn't really hurt him, but the General on Winged Beast, he was going to hurt him bad if he'd sit there. So I just turned around and faced the pikeman. All I had to do was angle a little bit and take the other one, but again, another mistake, just like the mistake there with the Salamanders. I don't know what it was. Maybe I'm just buffaloed playing an army I'm not used to playing that I really don't like. So Craig had got a little crazy with his inspiring and moved him away from that unit of foot guard, and my Lacheladon shot him up and killed him. Yay! Yay there, I killed the pikeman. Now I'm aimed at the front of the of his General Winged Beast. His pikeman, who I flank charged, was... they were dead, and now the Phoenix had turned to face the General on Winged Beast and the other Pegasus. So not a horrible shape right here on this end of the table at all. Just a little closer up picture. You can see those guys there. The primes are going to be slaughtered this turn. The stupid thing, like I said, is you could see that General on Winged Beast could see the flank. I just, for some reason in my mind, just did not think that they were in range. And all I had to do is measure, which is a dumb thing. I guess I've been playing so much Universal Battle that it's easier to gauge distances on there than you get to the tabletop, and you're kind of out of sync with the table. So anyway, we'll just see what happens. So yeah, the General on Winged Beast and the pikemen easily finish off the tyrants over there. He also killed my unit of Salamander primes and whirled that guy around to make sure it's across the midline. And but now I have a charge with my Salamander primes into his unit of berserkers there, and we're coming down to the very end of the game, and we'll have to see what goes on. So in my turn, I simply move 7 points of unit strength across the middle of the table, and trying to go for, since it's turn 6, I really don't have much choice of what to do. And so, but I also are going to get a charge into his unit of fanatics there, and maybe see if I could take them off and try to reduce his unit strength. So yeah, I went ahead and charged into his berserkers, and conveniently they were not in the part where I would be hindered. So I was able to hit them with my full effect and destroy them, and then overrun. But I had to stop when I got to within a millimeter of his general on-wing beast. He was just in the edge there. I don't know if it would have made a difference or not, but it was my only attempt to be able to get that unit that had done absolutely nothing the entire game to actually do something. So instead of just overrunning, in case there was a turn 7, I just went ahead and turned. It almost gets my edge across the middle of the table, but just because that unit is so damn big, I just turned toward him in case something bad happened, and just prepared to roll the dice to see if there was a turn 7 or not. So the rest of my turn was just moving around just in case there was a turn 7. There was not a turn 7, there was just a turn 6, and we started measuring everything, and it looks like that I had, right there, 7 points across, and I believe he had exactly the same thing for a perfect 7-7 draw. Yes, that is my 5th draw in the last 6 games, but just want to point that out to you. I'm really not sure what the Salamander army is supposed to be good at, because it just feels like it lacks everything to me except for the tyrants, and the tyrants are semi-glass hammers for shooting, or just even the most basic flank charge can really mess them up. From one of these generals on wing beasts would have just taken them out instantly. So I'm not really sure what they're supposed to be doing. I'm not disappointed in my list. Had some guys help me with it online, and I really felt that there was nothing really wrong with the list. I was thinking about changing it, and right now the only thing I would think about changing are those Lancers to see what I could put in their place that kind of does the same thing but aren't as vulnerable to, I mean, for Lancers to work, they need to charge things. Well, there's not a whole lot of good targets, and I'm going to end up playing against this Kingdoms and Men list again. So keeping horsemen in it is probably not a good idea. I'm going to have to get something else, even if it's just another infantry unit of some sort. It doesn't matter. It's just going to be better than having that unit of Lancers. And that's not saying that they're a horrible unit or anything. It's just they're not going to be good for this next game. The big thing in this game is just massive screw-ups. I mean, I lost my right flank just because I screwed up, not because that these troops are bad or anything else, or the army design was bad. I just was careless, not seeing things. With the losing the tyrants was just stupid. That would have easily won the game. With 3 points, are you kidding? It would have even been close. Losing the Salamander Prime, same thing. All I had to do was angle them, and I wouldn't have lost them, and I would have easily won the game again. So this case, the draws aren't, this was all, as I call it, self-inflicted damage, this game. But I think I'll just have to be a lot more careful. I don't know why I've been so distracted lately and just missing stuff. But that's really what's happening. But, like I said, sometimes it's just a mental attitude when you're playing an army that you don't really like or really want to play, and so it's just like I mean, some of Craig's armies I'm kind of looking forward to playing. I think the Northern Alliance is kind of more my speed, and so I'm kind of looking forward to them because I play Varinger, and basically they're the same thing. So you know what I mean? There's not going to be any learning curve for there. Anyway, I'm looking forward to the next game to see if I could do a little bit better. As far as my old army, he has totally changed some of the stuff in it. He don't have as many of the small heroes in it that I had, but he did also make the infantry units much more solid and able to cause a lot more damage than they might normally do. So I think that's actually a good idea, and so we'll have to see what he does for the next game. I kind of liked what he did with the infantry, with the Elite and the Vicious on the foot guard to make them really bite. And then the Caterpillar on the Fanatics just about cost me my Ancients in the middle. So those are all good things. I mean, it may not want to make any changes to this list next time. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the battle report. There'll be another one soon. We got 6 more or 5 more games. I have to play with the Salamanders one more game. I think my next 2 choices of armies are going to be elves and are going to be Northern Alliance. So we'll see what happens to them. I don't know which one of I own over a dozen armies, so I'm not sure which the next 2 that Craig is going to pick. I fear it's probably going to be Abyssals and Racken. So we'll have to see what happens with that. And like I said, I'm kind of looking forward to Northern Alliance and elves a little bit, but these Salamanders are just not doing it for me. Thanks for watching.